Well, Channel 4 was the first television station to sign on here in Buffalo back in 1948 in the Statler Hotel. And just a few years after that, a young Mike Mombrea Sr. started working here as a studio cameraman. Mike, who is my former coworker, just turned 100 years old on Sunday. And I'm so pleased to have him as our guest tonight on News 4 at 5:30. Welcome to you, Mike. You look great. I talked to you before your birthday, and you said you felt great for 100. How do you feel tonight?
I feel like I'm 50 right now.
Well, hold that thought. Hold that thought. Now, you began here as a studio cameraman, but soon became one of the first news cameramen in the entire country. You were here for 32 years. Talk a little about what it was like to really pioneer a job that no one had ever done before.
Well, in the early days of television, it was just a new medium. A lot of people didn't think it would last, that they thought it would be a flash in the pan. But as it grew, it became the most popular thing that people watch today.
It did, certainly, and we appreciate that as well. Now, we have some pictures here of you when you were working here. What about the newscasters that you worked with? I'm thinking of people like Harry Webb and, of course, Van Miller back then.
Yeah, a lot of wonderful people that I worked for, Bob Coop and Carol Jason. And there's too many to mention, but they were all wonderful people to work with, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
And you did. Now, I want to talk about a couple of your favorite stories that you shot over the years. Tell us about that. As a devout Catholic, your favorite stories.
As a devout Catholic, my biggest and most thrilling story was covering Pope John Paul II in Rome in 1978. And covering Mother Teresa when she gave the commitments address at Niagara University in 1984.
Yeah, we have some pictures here that you shot of Pope John Paul II, and you developed kind of a relationship there. Tell us about this particular shot where you got right up in front.
Well, just before that happened, the Pope was having an audience, and the press was about 40 feet away from him on the stage where he was. And the Italian police came to us. I happened to be lucky enough to be in the front row of all the photographers. But when the Italian police came, they put a line in front of us and they said, if you pass that line, you go to jail. So this was unprecedented. But Pope John Paul II decided to get up from his seat and walk down into the audience, which was, it drove his security people crazy. And when he did that, an Italian still photographer bolted from where we were and started taking pictures. And I figured I'm probably going to go to jail, but I'm going to follow him. So I dotted down, and I was about 3 feet away from him for 20 minutes or so.
And that's how you brought such great pictures of the Pope back to Buffalo. I also think it's wonderful how life has come full circle. I understand that Pope Francis just sent you congratulations on your birthday and your work for the church.
I just heard that Sunday. I was amazed to hear that. It's a great honor.
It is a great honor, isn't it? Mike, I want to talk about World War II. You were in World War II. You were training pilots. Tell us what you did during your time in World War II.
Well, before World War II started, the pilot, to train a pilot, it took 128 weeks. Once the war broke out, they needed pilots, and they condensed it to 36 weeks. You had to have a college degree in order to get into the Air Corps when they first, before the war. But once the war started, you had to also have a 2-year college equivalency test, which I happened to pass. And I was trained as a fighter pilot, and I really enjoyed flying, and I enjoyed everything that I went through as far as my education to train as a pilot.
And let's jump forward now, because during the war, you came home and married your beloved Faye, right?
Right.
And how did that happen? It happened so quickly, Mike.
Well, when I received my wings on July 29, 1942, with 4 other very close friends, classmates of mine, we all wanted to fly a fighter plane called the P-51 Mustang. And the other 4 guys were ordered to fly the P-51, and they gave me orders to be a fighter pilot instructor. And I was devastated because I didn't want to leave my friends. But I think God knew what he was doing because 3 of them were shot down in Europe.
Wow. And Faye, you were married for almost 70 years. You have 5 children, 14 grandchildren, 27 great-grandchildren. I want to very quickly show a shot of how you met my husband before I even met him. This was at our wedding, and you came as a videographer at our wedding, and we appreciated that, drove all the way to Rochester for that. But in 1977, after the blizzard, you went to a dorm at Buff State, and there's my husband shaving off his blizzard beard, and there you are taking pictures of him for Channel 4 News that night. That was before I had even met him. But our lives have been intertwined over these many years. Mike, and it's been so wonderful. But before we go, I want to ask you, you were born at the end of the last pandemic, which was 1918. You were born in 1920. And now here we are in the middle of another pandemic. A lot of people are feeling depressed. They're feeling a little hopeless right now. What can you say to them during this time, Mike?
This is a very tough time that we're all going through, but we have to look at it from an optimistic viewpoint. It'll be over soon, sometime. And I think that people have to just have the faith that things will get better as we go along. And life is so precious, we should hold on to all the blessings we've had until this is over.
Absolutely. Optimism is everything. And that's why you're here with us at age 100. And Mike, I want you to promise to come back at age 101. And hopefully the pandemic will be over and we can talk to you in person at that time. Bless you, Mike. Thank you.
It'll be a pleasure. And Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah to everyone.
Thank you so much, Mike. Merry Christmas to you.